You are listening to the Across the Campus podcast, presented by atbsports.net.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Across the Campus, your college and Mid-American and Big Ten Conference sports podcast. I'm your host, Alex the Captain. As always, joining me today, AJ the Guru.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, welcome back, AJ. Recording a little early this week for us.
Yeah, my mother-in-law flew into town Wednesday night, so
Okay.
we have to go back. I have to go back home tomorrow.
Okay.
Faith is back with her in Culver doing stuff, so
Gotcha.
gotta go back and knock out some wedding logistics and whatnot.
Fair enough. Yeah, gotta cater to the ladies, right?
Yeah, do it, I guess.
Well, cool. So we have a couple things to talk about this week. We have a little bit of Super Bowl recap. We can go over that really quick. If you wanted to lead us on that, AJ, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty, active week, I guess, for some of these guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the video of Patrick Mahomes at the Post Malone concert last night.
I did not see that. I saw him catching the beer in the parade. That was impressive.
Yeah, I saw that. And then, he went to his girlfriend, Travis Kelce, and his girlfriend all went to a Post Malone concert last night, and the crowd just erupted.
Oh, I can
imagine. When they walked in there, it was insane. That was fun to watch. And then, Eric Stone Street, the actor, was on Jimmy Kimmel with running back, Kansas City's running back, Williams. Mm-hmm. I can't think of his first name.
Damien,
yep, that's Damien. Damien Williams, and they were just having a grand old time. I think Stone Street was still the same clothes he was in during the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I mean, it's good for Kansas City. Kansas City is a good time. It's a lot of fun out there. And Andy Reid's just one of those guys who deserves it more than anything.
Well, exactly. I think you and I talked about this earlier this week, with Andy Reid losing his son, with everything that's kind of happened to him and his family. This was a really big moment for him. One, it solidifies his potential Hall of Fame status, which I think he will get in first ballot more than likely. He's 6th all-time in coaching wins. Did I read that correctly somewhere?
I was going to say top 10, yeah.
Top 10 for sure. And then winning the Super Bowl, he's got a lot of talent on this team, obviously, but to just essentially late in the game obliterate that San Francisco defense. No lead is safe if you're playing Kansas City, and I think that we really got to see that throughout the playoffs and then obviously here in the Super Bowl. Yeah,
because I think every game they came back from being 10 or under 10, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 10 or more for every single game. So
a very explosive offense they have, and they're all young.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the football, and they'll be around. They'll be around a little while, I think.
Yeah, I think that this team is really. I don't want to get ahead of myself and say, oh look, new dynasty, but I do want to say that this team is going to be very competitive, and we may see a rotation of them and the Ravens and probably the Texans for the next few years for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so too. Tennessee's going to be in there.
Yep.
There's a lot of good young talent in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
I'm really curious to see how some of these guys grow, and it's just going to be interesting in the next couple of years too. I see contracts and things like that. Who's going to stay where, and what team's going to pay this guy, that guy.
Yeah.
So this kind of every year it seems like the contracts, the salary cap goes up. So. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the critical part, right? You look at who's getting paid what now and what they're going to be worth in 3 years, 4 years, whenever contracts expire. Who are they going to keep around? Who are they going to trade to make cap room for the more important guy? Patrick Mahomes is never leaving Kansas City. No. I can tell you that much. But it's just a matter of if they got to keep him and sign him to a big extension, who do they get rid of? Who do they trade off? Sammy Watkins. Obviously, they're going to try to keep Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of pieces that they need to figure out. So, like you said, it'll be interesting the next couple of years to see who does what with their salary caps.
And it seems like Watkins might be even sitting out next year as it is.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter or Instagram, one of the two.
Yeah.
That he was talking about that. So that'll be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, Super Bowl kind of ended. Obviously San Francisco is up 10 points with like 11 minutes to go. Kansas City comes back, obliterates them. Jimmy G throws some untimely interception, as well as can't convert on fourth down.
And I didn't like the play calling there at the end either.
Kyle Shanahan, welcome to blowing yet again another lead.
Absolutely. I mean, they had that third down there at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to go to the deep ball to Emmanuel Sanders, and they overshot him a little bit. You didn't have to go deep there.
No,
you only needed 6 yards or something like that, 5-6 yards.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
Go get that. It's a lot easier to get those 5 or 6 than it is a deep ball.
Well, I was gonna say, even if you do a fake draw play up the middle, you now collapse that defense, and you just hit a guy on a seam route, something. Just
sure.
You get a one-on-one matchup. Underneath, a drag route, something where you're one-on-one. It's a favorable matchup. You've got Emmanuel Sanders. You've got Debo Samuels. Debo. And so you've got those opportunities to create a play. You just need to pick up 5-6 yards.
And even on that third down, you don't have to get all 5 or 6. Get 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And make fourth down a lot manageable because you can run the ball. Raheem Mostert can run. He can move the ball.
Yeah,
so
he looked pretty solid. He didn't get the yardage I was expecting, but he still looked pretty good.
Yeah,
in the Super Bowl.
And Kansas City's defense, I think, played a lot higher than what most people thought they would.
100%.
Because the over/under was like 53 or 60 or something like that.
Yeah,
and they didn't come close. So, I think the defense really kind of surprised everybody. I think.
Absolutely. That defense looked good, especially late. One thing I took away from that, watching Patrick Mahomes on the sideline when they were up, I think it was like 4. They were up 4 or something, and he's screaming to the players, "Finish this game! Finish this game!" That's a leader right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for a lot of people who've never been in this position before, they were able to manage it pretty well.
Absolutely. So, congrats, Kansas City! Great job winning the Super Bowl. I did want to briefly touch on a couple Super Bowl commercials. Some great stuff, as always. As a Patriots fan, I had an absolute heart attack. And that moment in the Hulu commercial where Brady says, "All good things must come to an end," I swear it felt like an hour before he said, "I'm not going anywhere." I was dying sitting there watching that.
I'm sure you weren't the only one either.
The entire Commonwealth of Massachusetts was holding their collective breath.
Yeah, they were.
So that was good.
I liked the Bill Murray Jeep one. That was pretty good.
That was fantastic.
The Sam Elliott and I was thinking Old Town Road. Lil X and Nas X.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Other than that, did Budweiser have like a memorable Clydesdale one? I don't remember.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't see a Budweiser one that really stuck out to me,
No, they always have like the Clydesdale or the little puppy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember seeing one.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised because, they, like you said, they usually do the horses, they usually do the puppies, like just nothing out there that I can remember or recall.
And then I remember a couple of years ago, too, Miller Lite did the 1 second commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was genius.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Bill Murray one, it was good, but it was too long. Okay. It was like a 2-minute commercial.
Yeah.
At least.
Hey, if they were willing to pay the money,
sure,
why not, right?
$10 million, for 2 minutes at least.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
I think it was $5.2 million this year.
Something like that, yeah, for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
And then, I did like the University of Wisconsin vet one. That was pretty cool. I don't know if you remember that one or not.
That one I don't remember.
No, there was a gentleman who his dog was saved. I had a rare form of cancer.
Yes,
something like
that one. Okay.
And then the owner of the animal, the owner of the dog, wanted to thank his vet, and so his vet was the University of Wisconsin Veterinary Sciences. So he made a commercial thanking them.
Yeah, I do remember that one now. That was awesome. That was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, honestly, it was a boring Super Bowl up until, fourth quarter. That's really it. It was no exploding offense. It was kind of just like, just a boring game up until, 5 minutes left to go, really.
Right. Yeah.
It was like a Big Ten game. It was
Yeah,
just,
no, it really was.
Defense and punt again.
Yeah, no, but it was the finish I think we all wanted, especially after last year's Super Bowl. It was funny. The first quarter, the score was already higher than last year's Super Bowl.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty good. But just looking across the landscape of it, it was a very well played defensive Super Bowl until the very end. So
right.
Hats off to both squads for that.
Yeah,
they played their hearts out.
That was good. It was a good one.
So let's switch gears. We do have some college coaching moves we need to discuss.
Yeah.
Big one you texted me about.
Yeah, Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah, Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising, but it kind of wasn't. Because Sparty has been down the past couple of years.
Yep.
And they haven't really shown too many signs of life.
No, not at all.
Obviously there's these allegations coming out against him when it comes to recruiting and things like that. I don't know a ton about it. Haven't been able to look a whole lot into it. But he did hang on just enough time so he can get his $4.2 million bonus, which I don't blame him. I would too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he did this very smart.
You wake up in the morning, there's $4.2 million to sit in your bank account. Not a bad option.
No, not at all.
Not a bad thing there. But yeah, I saw Matt Campbell. He's already said he doesn't want it. I think the front guy right now is probably Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
I'd obviously hate to see him leave Cincy. She's doing such a great job there. But, it makes sense. I know Pat Narduzzi, he already said no. I don't know if you saw the video he posted earlier. He photoshopped his face onto a Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort.
I did. Yeah.
And he goes,
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
But when you look at it name-wise, Fickell's probably it.
Yeah. And Fickell, honestly, I know, Buckeye fans may not want to see that. They're happy for him down in Cincinnati. He's doing great things in the AAC. This is the second year in a row they've been finishing the top 25. He's doing really great things with Cincinnati. But money calls.
And it's one of those things, too, it was bound to happen anyway. He's going to get a big team. He's a big-time coach.
Absolutely.
Making. So he coached Ohio State for 13 years. And I've been since 2 years. 2 or 3 years now. And so, yeah, it's bound to happen. And he knows the Big Ten. He can recruit that very well.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not a far move for him either. Going from Columbus to Cincinnati, up 69 up to East Lansing.
Yeah.
So I would probably assume that he's going to be there. But he has said that nobody has talked to him yet. Nobody's reached out. Well,
like I said, it makes sense for him. Like you said, being a Big Ten coach, that's grassroots for him.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing that they wanted to do. And if I'm a Michigan State recruit, I'm kind of upset with Mark D'Antonio, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, because signing day was yesterday.
Yeah, signing day was yesterday. You're pulling this stunt 2 days before signing day. And so I get it, you want to get your money, you want to get the contract, whatever. That's fine. I respect that. I would probably do the same thing. But you shouldn't be promising these recruits and their families, we're going to have a great year next year, if you're even thinking about it. I don't know. I get you want to build the program, but if it's me, I have a hard time looking a recruit straight in the face and saying, yeah, we've got some great plans when I'm seriously considering retiring.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of those things too where I think Sparty's a big enough program to where recruits can be okay, they're still going to get somebody good in here.
Sure.
Because it's still a top program.
Absolutely.
And he's been there 13 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, I think it was time for a change really on all ends. Because they have been kind of progressively getting worse. And so, because obviously he has 2 Big Ten championships that won it in 13 and I think 15 maybe? 15, 16,
yeah, 15 because that.
Yeah.
Or what was the year Ohio State couldn't go to the.
Yeah.
Whatever that year was.
Yeah, that was third. No, I forget.
Well, it was Michigan State won it in 2011 and then
2013.
Yeah.
To beat us.
Yep.
That was at that one. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Cool, now we're back on track.
Right, yeah, going down memory lane here. Yeah, I was at that game. That was Braxton Miller. That's where the infamous meme of Urban Meyer eating pizza in the golf cart. That's where that game came
that's
from.
where that's from. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, National Signing Day yesterday, nothing too exciting. Not Zach Evans down in Texas, number one running back in the country. He still hasn't signed anywhere.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really
I
sure
couldn't
what
believe
his deal
that.
is. He's taking classes at A&M, but he hasn't. I think, or something like that. He's signed. It's all confusing. Just go look it up. It's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent you the story today of that Mississippi three-star Mississippi recruit who signed a letter of intent. Yes, Travion Brown. He signed a letter of intent to play at Ole Miss. But the one thing is, Ole Miss has no idea who this kid is.
That was the best story I've seen all day. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I saw it and I go, okay, well, let me look into this.
Mm-hmm.
And so they explained it, and so it sounds like this kid just faked his own signing day.
Looks like it. Reading that story that you sent me, everybody's saying that he had an offer from North Texas.
Mm-hmm. I saw that,
but there were no other offers. Like he really just pulled this whole, all right, I'm going to commit to this school, and Ole Miss is like, who are you? They had no idea, and way to get some national attention, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Negative national attention,
because especially there's no way the school will allow that because
goodness no.
I mean the coaches know what's going on. The college recruiters call the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he had like a letter of interest.
Yeah.
Or or whoever was recruiting him called and said, hey, well, no, they wouldn't because they didn't know who he was.
Yeah. So they had no paperwork on him. It says so.
I have no idea.
So they clearly weren't even looking at him. There was no recruiting. There was nothing. So, congrats, man! You got your 15 minutes of fame on the national level. Honestly.
So I wonder if that hurts his North Texas deal then.
Oh, I bet it does. I bet North Texas was probably kicking themselves like, all right, we just lost this guy.
But not really.
But yeah, now he's still on the board. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'll read this right here. At 2:17 p.m. yesterday, it appeared that three-star wide receiver Travion Brown had signed with Lane Kiffin's team in Oxford, Mississippi. His three-star receiver is nothing to celebrate nonetheless here in Missouri. But it was a good give for Ole Miss nonetheless. Yada, 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 yada. Right here's a tweet from somebody. Reached out to an Ole Miss spokesperson regarding the signing of the three-star receiver out of Shreveport. Said the school had no paperwork on him and had no further comment. So then right here, signing day sham, local star receiver, signs to play football at Ole Miss on Wednesday, but Ole Miss isn't claiming him. But then he's apparently signed to North Texas.
Okay, so he did sign with North Texas.
Well, yeah. Because this was tweeted out the 6th. So yeah, this morning. Welcome to the Mean Green family with wide receiver, the Travion Brown. Time to make some big plays in Denton. Signed, sealed, delivered. So...
Well, there you have it, folks. Looks like he is going to North Texas after all.
Huh. Well, that happened to, Nevada, too.
Yeah.
A couple years... Here's the video. He'd committed to Cal or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a pretty wild thing.
I have the video right here. He's a big boy, but doesn't look like a football player. Oh, my gosh. That's so sad.
That's awful.
The whole school was there, and he only had 2 hats sitting up there, Oregon and Cal.
Oh my gosh!
So if you have just 2 hats like that, there's no reason for you to have a school ending or a school day function like that.
No. If you've got 3 or more hats, then you can call for that. But if you're not getting recruited by any big time places, more than 1 or 2,
no,
you go to the one big time place. You go to the place that's really hunting you down.
Exactly. We can move on here. I mean, there's not really else other than recruiting there. Going to basketball, we'll bring up the venue that I'm going to take you to next year on the Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a hell of a finish.
That was nuts, right at the buzzer, too.
I think that's the second time that's happened against Nova, too. A Butler-Nova game. I think it happened a couple years ago, too.
Okay.
But yeah, Hinkle's an awesome place to play. It's so old. Not a bad seat in the house. But they had to pause the game. They had to stop the game for a little bit because Indy was getting some nasty rain last night, so the roof started leaking.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, they had to pause the game for a few minutes. But, yeah, ended up being, 79-76 or something like that.
Yeah.
Final score. Butler hit a last-second buzzer to win that one, so that's always a fun one. The Big Ten is just stupid. Makes no sense
We
at
talked
all.
about it yesterday, even. We were texting about it. Because
just
Purdue just comes out of nowhere and almost doubles up Iowa, who's ranked, and Purdue's like
106-68 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like, what are you doing? Like, why does this make sense? Because it doesn't. Purdue was at home, I think.
It was at home, yeah.
So again, the Big Ten living up to their thing.
Mackey Arena,
yeah.
Well, then, we beat Michigan the other day in Michigan or at Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sunday we beat IU at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it's just dumb. It just makes no sense. You look at the standings too; they're all backwards.
Oh, it's
the
so
teams
terrible.
that are always good are at the bottom, and the teams that are always terrible are at the top. Like Rutgers and Illinois are up there. That makes no sense.
Michigan and Ohio State are a collective 9 and 13 in Big Ten play.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
That's awful. That's so terrible. But they both have winning records on the season: 15-7 for Ohio State, 13-9 for Michigan.
And
so,
I think we were ranked second in the country not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, both were in the top 5, 4 weeks ago at one point?
Yeah.
Just mind-blowing. But that just shows you how good the Big Ten is, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that there's this much parity within the Big Ten and these schools could be ranked so high.
Exactly. And then right here, the last 100 meetings of Duke, North Carolina, 50-50. And the points scored for Duke, 7,746. And for North Carolina, 7,746.
All right, who's behind this?
Right, that was on ESPN too.
That's insane. Wow.
Wild. The NBA trade deadline tonight is, I guess the big trade there was Golden State sending D'Angelo Russell. Poor D'Angelo Russell can't find a home anywhere.
I know. I hate it for the guy. I really do.
He went out there and signed a massive contract, max deal, and he's not even there half the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, poor guy. Like, honestly, like he really just wants to play and have somewhere consistent. I mean, he's been passed around so many times. Yeah. He just wants to play for somebody for longer than a year. Right. I bet he would be so happy.
He had a great year last year in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I can't remember how that whole deal went down. If it was a free agent or he got traded out there.
I think he got traded. I think the last 4 teams he's been with have traded him away.
Lakers. He was drafted a Laker.
Mm-hmm.
And that was only 3 years ago.
Right. Yeah, and they traded him away.
Yeah. See, I think he was a rookie in 2016. Mm-hmm. Kobe's last year. So that makes no sense. Basketball just doesn't make sense.
Basketball really doesn't make sense.
And the Cavaliers traded for Andre Drummond. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Again, that makes no sense.
I don't really have an answer. I wish I did. I wish I understood the mindset of these teams doing things.
Sports are stupid.
Sports are so stupid. How many times have we said that in the last couple weeks?
Many. We've been talking about women's basketball too.
Mm-hmm.
We guess we do have some news here for our listeners. Here in the next month or so, the regional round of the NCAA tournament is here in Fort Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe you and I are going.
Yep.
We'll either do it depends on who's playing, actually. I know we saw the potential rosters, potential teams.
Yep.
It was a really good lineup too.
Oh yeah, it was a great lineup.
UCLA was in there.
Yeah, let me pull up the list. We had UCLA in there. We had Louisville.
Yep, Louisville.
Arkansas, Arizona State, Maryland, Big Ten team.
Maryland,
Fresno State, Montana State potentially.
Yep.
North Carolina, UConn. Like, yeah, there was some great
And geographically, Fort Wayne makes no sense for most of those schools.
No, it really doesn't. Because there was a regional up in Portland.
Yep.
Yeah, the Portland regional. And they're sending schools like Dayton there.
Yeah.
Like, so just geographically, none of it makes sense. But I'm not going to complain about seeing some of these powerhouses.
No, not at all. Obviously, I'd love for Montana State to come out here because that's where Faith went to school.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So, of course, she doesn't get back there to see them play. So,
yeah. So yeah, guys, that's our big news that we were tweeting about. We are going to be going to the NCAA Women's Regional, doing some podcast and some broadcasting from the regional itself.
Me and you can actually report a podcast in the same room.
Yeah. That would be pretty sweet.
I think we come back here, we get some drinks, and we have some fun.
Absolutely. Make a day of it, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's our big news for you guys. We did want to share that with you. Make sure you guys are aware. Try to get as many followers and listeners as we can to really blow this up for us. But I do want to flip to Mid-American basketball really quick.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at some of the men's standings right now. I really wish that I would stop talking about Toledo basketball because it seems like every time I think, oh, they're on the rise, they lose to Eastern Michigan, the team who had not won a MAC game all year. And I said, Toledo's going to do something stupid. They're going to end up losing this game by like 3 or something. They ended up losing by 4. So Toledo is second to last in the Mid-American West. Ball State is a half game away from first place.
Yeah. Playing good ball. They beat Kansas State the other night, too.
Yes, they did. They looked really good doing that, too. 62-54. Yeah. And then they beat Ohio as well on Saturday. So they've 2 quality wins back-to-back. Next big test against Western Michigan this upcoming Saturday. Looks like that is at Kalamazoo, so that'll be a good game to watch. Toledo is playing Bowling Green down at Bowling Green on Saturday. 75. Yep, round 2. Right. Bowling Green beat Toledo in Toledo 2 weeks ago. It was 85-79. So just, Bowling Green lives and dies by the 3, but they've been really living by the 3 as of late.
Yeah.
They're really good from beyond the arc.
Next Tuesday, I might go down to Muncie to the game. Northern Illinois comes to town.
That'll be a good one. That'll be a really good matchup.
Northern Illinois is 14-9. We're 13-9.
Mm-hmm.
I might go down.
And then at the end of February, you are coming to Toledo, and we're going to Ball State Toledo.
That's right. Forgot about that. Yes.
That'll be fun. That's the 29th of February.
29th of February, yes.
And don't worry, I'll put you and Faith up. That's fine.
That's a leap year, too, isn't it? Leap day.
Yeah, that's
my mom's birthday. Whoops.
Sorry, Mom.
All right.
So that'll be fun. That's the last MAC game for both schools on the regular season before conference tournament play. So that'll be a lot of fun. Could potentially decide if Ball State gets what seed. That looks like that's going to have a lot of seed implications based on the ball that Ball State is playing as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sitting there 13-9, and looking at the schedule going forward here, it doesn't get much really easier, honestly.
No.
We got Western this weekend, then we have Northern Illinois, then BG and Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Buffalo's 14-9. Then we have Eastern, then Western again, then Toledo. So really, it's here in March too.
Yep.
Yeah. Doesn't get easy for the Ball State Cardinals.
Does not.
But it's nice about the MAC. Everybody's around the same record.
Yeah, they're all floating together. I think the worst record I've seen in the MAC is 9-13 or something like that. So everybody's crunched in there together. It's not, but it's their conference records that are just the difference, frankly.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan's sitting here at 2-7.
Mm-hmm.
With 12-10 on the year.
Yeah. Have you taken a look at the recent top 25?
I've not.
I'm gonna read off these names for you for who our top 10 are. We've got Baylor, number 1. Gonzaga, number 2. That one doesn't surprise me. Kansas, number 3 at 18-3. Number 4 blew my mind. I had to do a double take. San Diego State at 23-0.
Really?
23-0, San Diego State, sitting at number 4. Louisville, sitting at number 5, 19-3. Dayton, a team I'm kind of cheering for a little bit, sitting at number 6 at 20-2. Duke at number 7. How often are we going to say Dayton's ranked above Duke? That's wild.
Right.
We've got Florida State at number 8, Maryland cracking the top 10 at number 9, and then Villanova sitting squarely at number 10. They dropped a couple spots after a big loss this last week. But San Diego State at number 4 in the country. Let me look at their schedule. I mean, they're not. I mean, they've obviously not lost any games, but they're playing some really quality ball. They're blowing people out of the water.
Yeah,
they're winning by double digits.
I saw they just retired Kawhi Leonard's number out there too.
Yep.
And I forgot he even went there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's one that you don't think about too often. So that top 10 for the men is just absolutely insane. And I think it's cool, though. Actually, I did want to, speaking of top 10 and whatnot, I do want to talk about a big game that happened this last week on the women's side. Oregon-UConn.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you got to catch any of the highlights of that. But
I did not.
But I did. I didn't get to watch the game. We were having issues out here. But Oregon throttled UConn. It was 74-56. And this was one of the worst home losses for UConn in like the last 25 years. The last 30 years. They've never had a defeat this bad while playing at Gamble Pavilion, which opened in 1990.
Wow.
So 30 years. And Oregon, I mean, we were just talking about UConn a couple years ago having that, wasn't it that crazy stretch of games where they won like 115 straight or something?
Something like that, yeah.
And so Oregon comes in, beats them by 18. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I really like this Oregon team. I have all season, frankly, but they looked really, really good in this game. Looking at the highlights, looking at the stats, you've got Crystal Dangerfield from UConn. She had 19 points, not bad, but Ruthie Herbert from Oregon, 22 points, 10 of 14 from field goal range, 2 of 3 from the free throw range. This game started out, Oregon, they started out really hot. They went up 10-2 early and just never looked back.
Right. Yeah, I didn't get to see that score of that game, actually. But UConn, I mean, it's a tough place to play. It's proven that for, a couple decades now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I feel like the tides are turning in women's basketball.
No, I think so.
Notre Dame's not up there anymore. Texas A&M, I don't think they're up there that much anymore. Stanford, because I grew up near Notre Dame, and so it's like, okay, I go to women's games all the time, and I've seen Muffet McGraw. I've met her a few times, and it's like she's been there forever.
Right. And
they've always been a top-tier program, and, they're just down this year.
Yeah, they've been really down. They've not looked... I mean, a lot of these women programs that have been the quote-unquote kings of college basketball aren't performing. I mean, you look at the top 3 are South Carolina, Baylor, and Oregon. Like, you normally see like a UCLA and a Louisville up there, and they're just not playing as good. I mean, 19-2 and 19-3 aren't anything to sneeze at, of course, but you've got schools like Oregon and Baylor just absolutely playing lights out basketball. It's actually really cool to see the changing of guard.
Right. It was bound to happen at some point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, when, what's her name? Tennessee.
Pat Summitt.
Thank you. You can take my sports fan card for that. I'm sorry. But like when she was down at Tennessee and just created that dynasty, that culture, becoming the first coach in basketball, NCAA basketball history to reach 1,000 wins. Like she just breeded that culture of success. And obviously, you don't see Tennessee talked about anywhere near as much anymore. I mean, they're not even in the top 25 from what I'm seeing.
Right.
They're outside the top 30. So as a fan of college basketball, as a fan of college basketball and basketball in general, Tennessee is sitting at 23. I apologize. As a fan of basketball and college basketball, it's so good to see parity. It's so good to see the changing of the guard. Like you look at the Alabamas of college football, right? It's so important for them to not win it every year because then it gets predictable, it gets stale. As a Patriots fan, I I'm fine with it if the Patriots aren't playing the Super Bowl every year because, and I'm going to be crucified for this, because it's not fun for the rest of the league when everybody knows what's going to happen. That parity is so critical for the sustainability of any sport. That changing of the guard, like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the Baltimore Ravens, becoming relevant again. That's so critical for the NFL. Seeing these powerhouses in college basketball fall off, like North Carolina falling off in a big way this year. That's so good for the growth of college basketball.
It is. And, I think it's as, athletes get better, which they are. I mean, it's, plain simple now. I think it's going to be more common now that, the top teams aren't going to be on top, year in and year out.
Right. No, I definitely agree with that. And I think
the way the recruiting is now, too.
Well, recruiting in basketball is probably the most diverse I've seen it in a long time. Obviously you have the big schools that people are going to and signing contracts or signing their intent to play offers and whatnot. But because the NBA no longer allows straight out of high school, I think you're starting to see that those University of Kentucky's, places like that, aren't taking the leftovers of what didn't go to the NBA. They're starting to have to compete to get the guys who could go to the NBA.
And to kind of go off that thought, I'm going to take it a different way.
Go for it.
And that is, some of these guys are going to go overseas now and play. Mm-hmm. That's why the number one recruit last year, I can't think of his name, but he went to New Zealand. He goes, I'll play over there for a year and get paid, and then go to the NBA.
Yeah.
And I think you'll, and then the youngest ball kid doing the same. Well, oddly doing the same thing.
I could see it.
Yeah, and so I think that's going to be the trend too. Guys going overseas because it's probably pretty affordable to live over there, I assume. Mm-hmm. So why not go get paid for it?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely, I think it makes the most sense, frankly, because now you're getting to do what you love. You're more than likely better than a lot of those overseas guys, because basketball in America is just so much different than it is anywhere else in the world. It's such a part of the culture, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that you're getting those opportunities to play on a national stage. Granted, it's not the American national stage, but you become a superstar elsewhere very quickly.
Sure.
And I think, of course, those guys are going to want to take that opportunity to really kind of grow and be a part of something special for themselves. It's become more about themselves rather than helping a school. And really, I think it's always been that way. That's why there was those jumps, like the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron Jameses, going to the NBA straight out of high school, right? But I think that now you're starting to see it kind of shift even more so. Well, I just have to play school for a year. Cool, let's do that. So, right. I don't know. It's interesting to see, like you said, the recruiting of it is pretty different. And yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy shift.
It is. It's one of those shifts that's going to continue to shift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you pay any kind of attention as a sports fan in general, if you pay any kind of attention, that shift is one of those that doesn't occur quickly. It occurs very slowly over time. But you think about when LeBron James was being recruited by these colleges, when everybody knew he was going to go straight to the NBA back in 2003?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, now you got guys like Zion Williamson who are now in the NBA. I think it's so important for that year of development in the college level. I don't want to say LeBron and Kobe weren't ready their rookie years, but I think that they would have greatly benefited. And maybe they wouldn't have. I could be completely wrong on this, but I think it's super beneficial to play on the next level without playing on the level,
if you think about it, though, college game isn't really prepping them for anything. It's just another year. You know, it's saying you have to go to school. Because once you get to the league, it's nothing. Everything you learn in college is kind of thrown out the window. They're going to build you up unless you're a LeBron, a Kobe, a Zion.
Yeah.
Or, those guys. I don't know. It's just the paradigm of college basketball And especially now with what the Nike and Adidas are doing, Adidas getting in trouble, not too long ago with Louisville and things like that, these AAU tournaments and camps.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change everything.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think basketball is gonna continue to shift, like you said. I think it's so critical to watch.
I think more than any other sport.
Oh, easily. Yeah, I mean, the NFL, those guys aren't ready straight out of high school. So I think, those 2 or 3 years in college are super critical. But basketball, yeah, it's going to continue to shift until, well, I think now with the NCAA passing the regulation where players can get paid here in a couple years, I think 2021 is when that officially kicks off. Once those players can start getting paid and receive sponsorships and whatnot, you're going to see a swing back to not going overseas. They're going to stay and, I can get recognized for my talents at North Carolina. Cool. I'm going to get paid for that now. I think that we're going to start seeing that on a much broader scale.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The whole trend of college athletics is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We got speaking of athletics, the XFL this weekend too.
That's going to be fun. That's.
I'm curious. I want to look into their business acumen here because I kind of want to know what these TV deals look like.
Mm-hmm.
They have games on Fox, CBS, and ESPN.
Yeah, they've got a lot of TV contracts sitting up for them. I do really, really like how they're presenting this. As obviously they're presenting it as the XFL as a rebirth essentially. Mm-hmm. But I think that they're doing it right. I don't think that they're rushing it. I think they've really taken their time with making sure that this is going the right direction.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I would call it a rebirth. This is an entire different league than what it was originally.
Well, I'm looking at week 1. They've got a game on ABC, 2 games on Fox, and then 1 on ESPN. Yeah, Fox Sports 1, Fox, ABC, ESPN. Yeah, I mean, they've got some big-time TV deals. That's really cool. And then it's going to be a 10-week regular season, and then a 1-week or a 2-week playoff with the championship coming in the second week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really interested to see how this all works out, to be honest. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think
because there's going to be a lot of guys, too, who you've forgotten about.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what we were talking about, too, is, we're looking at the rosters. Let me go to teams here really quick. I mentioned in our pre-show, Cardale Jones, who, joked about playing at Ohio State. He was playing school or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you look at some of these guys. I'm going to pull up the LA Wildcats really quick. Let's roster. Yep, there we go. Let's see if you recognize any of these names. We've got Josh Johnson, played at San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Novak from Maryland.
Yep, I know that.
Kermit Whitfield from Florida State. I remember him, the wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson Spruce, Colorado. Trey McBride, William and Mary. So it looks like a lot of lower Division I guys are going to get the chance to play. Marshawn Diggs from UAB.
Yep.
And then you flip the switch here. Aaron Springs, the cornerback from Oregon. I remember him playing.
Yep.
I mean, it's cool to see the diversity in some of these schools. Obviously you got your big hitters. You got Michigan State. You got Auburn, Rutgers, Oregon State. Tiffin University, Willie Mays. No joke. Linebacker for the LA Wildcats.
Huh.
That's cool. You don't see a Division III school get represented too often, so that's really cool. Grambling State, Martez Carter. Storm Norton went to University of Toledo.
Yep.
So that's really cool as a Toledo fan, as a MAC fan, really. It's cool to see those guys get that opportunity. Sean Oakman from Baylor.
I think he got cut.
Sean Oakman?
Or traded.
Really?
Maybe he got traded to LA is what it was.
Yeah.
Because he was that dude. He had a girl falsely accused him of some things. Kind of ruined his NFL career.
Mm.
Yeah. He was a big boy.
Remember the name Jordan Smallwood?
Yeah.
Oklahoma, man. Yeah, he's on this roster. Wow. See, that's so cool. Like, getting to see these names that, one, like you said, you forgot about, but getting to see these guys have a second chance to play professionally. I think they're, making $70,000 a year or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So I think that's really cool. A lot of old college guys. Now, this will be interesting, and I don't know if you've seen anything of like this, but I did see that they wanted to try to make this somewhat of a development league for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much... Oh, Bob Stoops is coaching the Dallas Renegades.
Yep.
Like, that's another great college name we know. Yeah, I don't know. This is pretty wild. A lot of really
we'll talk about it more after next week once we see it.
Sure.
I know they'll be talking about live betting though on TV, which would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Something different, but and think about it too. A lot of there's some trends from the original XFL that the NFL took in consideration. So we'll see. It's hard to talk about now. It's all speculation of things, but after week one, we'll see what it looks like, and I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to let it develop. Hopefully it doesn't fold like the AAF or whatever that was after, week 8?
Something like that. Those guys didn't get paid.
Yeah, oh man. Can you imagine being that guy who's just like, are you kidding me right now? This is awful.
Yeah.
Like, then they lost their health insurance. So anybody who got injured, who was still injured, they stopped paying for it. Like, that was just such a horrible experience.
Yeah.
And you feel bad for those guys. You really do. Trying to think.
But Trent Richardson was the all-time leading rusher, so.
Yeah. There you go. See, you.
Hall of Fame worthy.
There you go. All right. So I have. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's it, man. I'm excited to talk about the XFL though next week. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think that'll be really, really great. So, my trivia for you this week is comes pre 2018.
Okay.
So, when was the last time prior to 2018 that the Mid-American Conference had 2 teams in the women's NCAA tournament? Was it 1996? I'll give you the teams. Was it 1996, 1999, or 1997? The 2 teams were Kent State and the University of Toledo.
97?
That would be incorrect. It is 1996.
6.
Kent State and the University of Toledo both advanced to the second round. Kent State, they were both the 10 seed in their respective quadrants. Kent State defeated number 7 Texas A&M 72-68, and then they fell to number 2 Penn State 86-59. Toledo in the first round beat number 7 Mississippi 65-53. Lost to Old Dominion number 2 in the second round 72-66.
Old Dominion that time, 2 boys and girls were really good.
Yeah, they were hot.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, man, that is my Maction trivia for you this week.
Right.
Figured I'd stick to the theme with some basketball. Oh, we did have a couple mailbags that we gotta go over.
Yeah.
We did have from one of the Beard Brothers, actually. AJ sent us in, which wide receiver from Alabama do you see getting picked first, and who will take them? You and I kind of discussed this briefly.
Yeah, it'll be Judy.
It'll be Judy to Arizona, I think, is
probably,
the consensus.
Yeah. That's kind of the consensus I've seen also.
That's the consensus I've been seeing, and I think it makes sense, right? Because Larry Fitzgerald is getting really old. I mean, he's going to retire probably in the next year or so. Get Jerry Jeudy. He's 6'1". He's a big guy out of Alabama. Lots of speed, good route running. I think it'll be really important for him to have the opportunity to kind of just take over and just, once Larry's ready to go, he's going to be a big spread the field kind of guy. And so I think he's going to go first of all the wide receivers. But I think Arizona needs that. They need to be able to spell Larry Fitzgerald. And I think it'll be really good for the young guys, too, to have a potential big time wide receiver playing for him.
Yeah, partnering him up too with a young quarterback would be good. The second receiver I see going is Lamb out of Alabama.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. Or Oklahoma, sorry.
Yeah, no. Oklahoma's, he's phenomenal. I really like CeeDee Lamb in college. He just did a lot of really, really great things for that program. He saved, I'm blanking on his name right now. Transferred from Alabama.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, thank you. He saved him a lot. They're saying that he's projected to go to the Giants.
I can see that. Some of these young, especially some of these teams with the young quarterbacks, they're going to try to get some wide receivers.
Yeah, I could see him. Yeah, he's the wide receiver. Everybody's kind of picking behind Jerry Jeudy. Henry Ruggs was another Alabama wide receiver that I think we'll see go in the first round. That's who I was thinking of earlier.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see him go. But the other talk is that CeeDee Lamb might go to Denver to play opposite Cortland Sutton.
Sure, and again, it's another young quarterback.
Drew Lock taking over there. Joe Flacco is probably done. He'll play backup for another year or so, but I think Joe Flacco is done in the NFL.
Yeah, because I think he ended this past year in the IR. So yeah, it's interesting to see.
So yeah, I think that's gonna kind of do it for us. Thank you, AJ, for sending in that question. AJ, it's so weird to say that. My AJ, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's it for me, man. Covered a lot. We got a pretty nice couple of days here of sports coming up, though. Some good college basketball.
Absolutely.
And some XFL we can talk about here next week.
Really excited about the XFL.
Yeah, other than that, man, I'm ready to go.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you get the chance, please check out our website, atbsports.net. We're posting new articles where you can find all the links to all of our other podcasts, including a couple new ones we started up across the track for NASCAR, Across the Bills, run by our Bills Mafia queen, Steffi Tweets on Twitter. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, first off, shame on you. Second off, please make sure you do. You can follow us at Across the Campus. AJ and I posted a new header last week, gotten some positive responses about it. We look pretty good, and I just wanted to make sure you guys check that out. Our Beard Brothers, over at the Beard Brothers Fantasy Football Podcast, you can follow them on Twitter at Beard Brothers FF. Make sure you give them a shout. They posted a new episode this week. Some good content going on over there. They actually dropped a commercial for our show in the middle of their show, so that was actually pretty cool. So make sure you guys check them out. Posting out new fantasy football content for you guys, making sure you guys are staying up to date on player moves, rankings, their own personal rankings on what players are going to do, their NFL draft previews. So just make sure you guys give them a listen, give them a follow, give them a ranking and a review on iTunes, Google Playlist, or Google Podcast, Spotify Podcast, wherever you guys listen to it. Make sure you guys check them out as well. So, yeah, AJ, thank you so much for stopping in.
Thank you. Also, before we sign off here, speaking of iTunes,
if
you're going to review our stuff, come up with a better name, please.
Yes, please do. We were looking at some of those reviews.
My brother mentioned something. He goes, do you guys write your own reviews? I'm like, no. And he goes, man, those are some bad names.
Oh, yeah, these names are terrible.
They were pretty rough.
Whoever decided to go with Alf Funcoot, whatever, come on. Like,
and then there's Browns Freak with a bunch of different numbers. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Like, don't be afraid to use your real names, or even if you don't want to use your real names, like, use an anagram or use a friend's name. I don't care. Like, if you're gonna review us, be straight up with it. Don't give us these like crazy names. I do appreciate. I think one of my camp kids has actually listened to our podcast because I think the one review was from him because I see him say Captain Shear. And at my summer camp, before I was promoted this year, I was named Captain Shear at camp. So I think one of them was from him. But guys, come on. Let's not do this. Let's make this better.
Right.
But that being said, please head on over to iTunes. Please leave us a review. If you want to call us out for calling you out, that's fine too. We don't care. Please leave us a review. We want to get that feedback from you. We're probably going to be posting a couple surveys here soon to kind of get an idea of what else you guys want to hear on the show. We want to make sure that you guys stay engaged and are part of everything we've got going on. AJ, happy women's softball opening day, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, that's right.
So women's softball kicking off today. We'll have to touch on that soon.
It's still cold.
Oh, yeah, it's awful. Not in Texas, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And AJ, I will see you next week.
See you.